Alright guys, what's up? Once again, this is driving me absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I left the room and I come back and then it just says that there is an error of my encoder and I have no idea what the F that means. So I hope you guys are back. Let me check the stream and see if I get more people back or not. Got one person back at least. Let me see if you guys are back. I know we had quite a good chat going, and all of a sudden my internet, I don't even know what happened. I really don't know what happened. I walk out of the room and I come back and then it's just like, yeah, nope. Your chat is done. I don't know if I went over an hour. Sometimes that's what happens. You know, if I went over an hour, then sometimes it cuts me off a chat, but we will see. We will see if there's anybody coming back or not. But I'm gonna go to the charts just in case. Right, so yeah, I'm back too. Sorry, conscious speaking. I had no idea what happened. I literally just left the room and I come back and it just said that there was a streaming encoder error and it just completely took me out and I have no idea what's going on. So anyways, let's head over to the charts, guys, and let's see what's going on here. 1 second. Let me make sure the charts are actually correct. Okay, charts are there. Last time the charts were like way huge. It didn't make any sense. So looks like the charts are good. White heart being at 34,000. Man, I want some white heart. I really do want some white heart, but I don't know where to find it. If you can tell me where to find some white heart, I will love you forever, because I have looked for like every exchange that has white heart and I cannot find white heart. So I don't know how it's at $34,000, because it said it was on Uniswap too, but I went to Uniswap too, and there was no way to swap any coin for white heart. So I don't know. But it looks like it did come down and it hit 425 or 1425, right? Pull back up a little bit. This is what I said I thought it would do. Come down, hit this, pull back up just a little bit, and then probably pull, and then probably go down through here. It looks like it might be going back up. Who knows? Anyways, while this is happening, I do want to go to Bitcoin eventually. Yes, we want to go to Bitcoin and talk about Bitcoin, because it's become a strange phenomenon, right? Become a strange phenomenon. Let me get rid of some of the chart stuff I got going on here. Yeah, whenever it was falling way back up here, I put a buy limit at 36,000 and wait for it to get back up there. I know that's for sure. I didn't put a whole lot of money at 36,000. I'm still in the positive, but that definitely put down my average, that's for sure. YouTube being slow today. Yeah, it is being slow. Also, I may have went over an hour. Sometimes whenever I go over an hour, I'm not, I guess I'm not a huge YouTuber, so at an hour it'll literally just cut me off every single time. So anyways, I was talking about Bitcoin, and I wanted to see what was going on with this. So it looks like you know, where I drew, like the thing is that there is a huge gap down here. We're at past the 20,000 point, right? And it just went right up to almost 30,000, or 23, it looks like. There's a big gap down here, and this scares me, right? Because most gaps get filled, but not all of them. There's 95% of them. So this gap scares me. And I even went down and like looked at it in like the 1 minute, and I could not find a red candle anywhere. So this is all green right through here. It just all buying pressure the entire way. So that's what scares me. So I did put my Fibonacci at the very, well, I put it in here. And actually, I don't even know why I put it in here. I probably need to take out a lot of this because none of this makes any sense anymore. The only thing that makes sense is that purple line, because that purple line is the previous high from back in 2017. So thing is that it jumps through that, and the reason I put the fib here is because it was going along, and then bam, it took off, right? So that's where I always put my fibs, right? And that's what I was taught. I was taught to put your fibs wherever there's an explosion, right? So there's an explosion here, right? And then we go all the way to the top, right? And it falls back down, and where it falls back down is to the 50%, right? Now, what's funny is I can show you something else that did that. And it's not in crypto. It's called gold. Which is interesting because you know, Bitcoin is supposed to be the gold of you know, crypto money, but I'm on the 1 minute here. All this stuff needs to go. Hello, come on. I'm hitting delete. There we go. So, what's funny is that here's that last down push, right? So it goes sideways for a little bit. Here's that last down push. We go all the way to the top. Boom. What does it do? When it falls, hits the 50. What does Bitcoin do? Hits the 50. So there's an interesting parallel in between gold and Bitcoin. Oops, wrong one. And it's kind of acting the same way, right? So except for, you know, gold came up, did this, and then so gold may be a little bit ahead of what Bitcoin is actually doing. So we may be seeing kind of a futuristic, or at least if we look at gold, we may be seeing kind of a map at what Bitcoin may be doing, right? And so where as low as gold got, is it got down to the 70.5 like it always does, right? Almost down to the 80 before it finally decided to pull back, right? And then once it pulled back, still pulled back down, but now gold is looking good. I've been watching gold, and gold is actually starting to turn, and even though it just went to a sell signal here, I can tell you that gold is actually going to be a good green weekly candle this week. I know that for a fact. So question is that if Bitcoin is actually looking like a parallel to gold, then where are we at with Bitcoin compared to gold is the question. Do you guys just a question? Do you guys see the parallel in between Bitcoin and gold? No, it's going to take a second because the lag and everything. Or do you guys think I'm crazy? I'll wait for a minute until I get a response. But yeah, okay. But since Bitcoin moves, it seems odd. Well, gold moves too. Gold moves a lot. Gold actually moves crazily a lot. Come on now, I'm not hitting anything. Let me get rid of these because actually, let me click off of something and then click back on gold because then it'll take away. See, now it goes to my newest chart of gold. I hate, I hate, honestly, I hate trading view for this. It's like I had a chart, right? I have an old school chart of gold and it brings it up, but I have a new chart of gold and I have to click off of it and then click back onto it and then it brings up my new chart of gold. It makes no sense. I just don't get it. But yeah, compared to the dollar, yeah, that's true. And you got to think whenever, and you got to think about the dollar whenever you think about crypto too, because whenever people are taking their dollar, right, and they're buying crypto with it, right, that's eventually going to devaluate. Try Alt R. I don't have Alt. I'm on a Mac. Maybe Option R. Gold goes up, Bitcoin goes up, just currency type stuff. Yeah. So you got to think about the dollar too. Whenever people are, especially people are scared about the dollar because we're spending so much money. Did you know that 80% of all dollars were made in the last 8 months? Of all dollars ever, going, dating back to Federal Reserve days of 1913. 80% of all dollars that were made in the last 8 months. That is insane. That is the highest that we've ever seen. So I actually want to look up something right now. Let's look at the dollar. You burn old dollars through. No, it's because we're printing so many dollars to try to keep up, because we think it's gonna float the economy, and it's not. It's not gonna float the economy for printing so much dollars and trying to put it in people's pockets. I really don't think that is going to happen. Okay, so anyway, here's the dollar, right? And I have a lot drawn on the dollar because I look at the dollar a lot. If we look at this, right, and then we go back to 2018, which is funny because guess what happened in 2018 or 2017? That's when Bitcoin also hit its old high, right? So Bitcoin hit its old high, probably back in this area right here, right? Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And we are in the 4 hour. This may take a minute. Well, actually, I forgot. Bitcoin's way down here, so I went past it. So right here was when Bitcoin made its high, December 17th, 2017, something like that. It was where it made its high, right? When we go to December 17th, 2017, that's when the dollar was starting to slip. So it was like Bitcoin made its huge rise, right? And then whenever it fell, the dollar actually went up. So it looks like people jumped out of Bitcoin and sold all their Bitcoin. Well, that would actually make the dollar rise. So never mind. That's a bad comparison. So you apologize about that. It would be the exact opposite. You would see the dollar rise instead. Unless Bitcoin was not owned by people that had the dollar. Unless Bitcoin was owned, at that time through people that had the pound. Let's just say that it was honestly it was probably the Chinese, to be honest. It was probably the Chinese that was owning all the Bitcoin at that time, and that caused the crash as well. They probably mined it all, bought it all, and then just sold it all, right? So it was probably the Chinese that did all that. But at the same time, the dollar was going down, right? But anyways, you have this box of the dollar, right? Right. And then you come over here, and we are now in that box. Now I know I have so much going on through here. So it's because I want to draw this out. And actually, if we let's just get to the 15-minute. That way you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about with the dollar. Now, I think because people are buying Bitcoin, people are buying Ether, that is exchanging the dollar, right? That is taking the dollar, the value of the dollar, right? And it is lowering it because the value of the dollar doesn't have that power. It doesn't have that buying power because we're giving it to another currency that has that buying power. You know what I'm saying? Bounce it. Hold on one second. Mostly a new money representation. I know we haven't been pretty big Facebook looking for a long time. That's only 15, 20 years. But we definitely just print money. That is certainly an issue. Yeah. And printing money is not going to solve. See, that basically the whole premise is that everybody sees value in the dollar, and the reason that the dollar even holds value today is because all oil transactions are made through the dollar, right? And oil is probably the biggest commodity out there, right? So since all oil transactions are made through the dollar, that is why the dollar probably still holds value. If we were to change the the price of let's just say that the oil was now going to be priced in the British pound, the dollar would probably fall. The dollar probably would fall completely. Now when I look at the dollar here, right, what has happened, especially since last week, I drew these two highs, right? I knew it was going to break this one, right? It broke this high, right? And now it has two highs down here, which means the dollar is going to go lower. The dollar is going to go lower and break these lows, right? Where is it going to stop? I don't know, because there's lows right here, right? And I don't know where the order blocks are. So I think the dollar is just going to keep going, and it's probably going to hit this low of 88,942. Right? I think this is where the dollar is eventually going, and it's all going to be because of people buying gold. There's a lot of people buying gold because they're old school, and you know, they think if anything was to crash, you know, then gold would actually be valuable. You can trade it, you can do that. If there was an internet crash or anything like that and the whole system goes down, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that stuff, nothing. It's going to be worth nothing because we're not going to be able to access it because we don't have computers. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the thought process behind what's going on, I think. But as far as Bitcoin is going, I think I think I got close to the 618, right? But I do think we are going to see a little bit more of a dip. I don't think we're done dipping with the Bitcoin. I really don't. I don't think we're done dipping with the Bitcoin. I think it's going to dip a little bit more. I think probably 26,000. And then after that, we're probably going to see it go up. Right? Because I don't see any liquidity points up here except for this one right here. Right? This is the only liquidity point I see. Let me get off of here. Right? Those equal highs right there. Right? That's about the only liquidity point I see in Bitcoin. So, and even then, I don't know. Let me put a retail on this, and let's see what we got going on. I don't know why it likes to just make my MACD so huge I can't even read it. Right, it's saying that it's going to go above, but I mean, it's showing the momentum is going up, right? It does have a buy signal, right? But I don't see it lasting, you know? I see it could probably get back up to here and then probably start falling again. Why? Because, well, it hasn't broken any intermediate highs, right? So here's an intermediate high. I should probably get rid of a lot of these lines because they don't mean anything anymore. This is back whenever I was drawing a lot of stuff on it, and whenever it was making its highs and whatnot. Now here's one thing, again, a lesson to learn, or at least a lesson I can teach you guys. Again, and it happened to Ethereum too, right? Whenever it gets to that low and it comes back up, you think it's going to make a new high. Watch out for that last push up before the push down, right? Because that's the candle it's going to go to, and then it's going to drop back. And again, same thing happened to Ethereum, remember? Oh, going the wrong way. And let me get on the hour, actually, of Ethereum to show you that. Well, it wasn't this. I think it was this. You know what? Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was this. But then again, it didn't pull up. But what I was trying to say is that if you do have a high or something like this, right? Pull a fib down, all the way down. Oh, why'd it go away? Pull a fib down, all the way down. Why did it, what's going on? Where is my mouse? There it is. Okay. Let me try it one more time. Okay, there we go. Now, whenever it pulls back up, right, it gets right into that 70.5, right? Again, that 70.5% is going to be your key number. That's going to, we always tell people to enter the trade at 60.2. That way you know you're in the trade, because sometimes it doesn't always get to the 70.5. But I always tell people is have, maybe a smaller trade that you want to have, and then have a big trade, right? A lot more money into the 70.5. That way when it does reach it, boom, you made a lot more going back to the opposite direction. And again, this is for futures people. This is for people that trade CFDs. That way you can sell. If you're the type of person that wants to sell, if you have a big pile of Ethereum that's sitting in Coinbase or Kraken or Binance or something like that, and you want to sell it and then try to, buy it back at a big price, this is one way you can do it. I don't suggest doing that. I only suggest doing it for futures and for people that are trading CFDs on MetaTrader 4. I don't suggest doing it as like an equity sell and then trying to buy back as much as you can at a lower price. You can do it, and if it works out perfectly for you, more power to you, way more power to you. But I personally, if I have a HODL account, right, in which I have quite a few. I have one in Coinbase, I have one in Binance, I have one in Kraken, and I have one in KuCoin. So I have a couple different, HODL accounts all over the place, all different addresses, things like that. Just because I want to send them back and forth, and then see if I can't put it in one coin that's gonna, go up and, make a lot of percentage and then do things like that. So that's what I kind of do. I don't really wait till it gets to a point and then sell, right? And then buy back at a different area. But I'm more talking about people that do CFDs or trade futures, right? Because if if you were to put your short position, here at the 62%, right, and you wanted to put it above the 100. Let me get rid of this guy. Come on, jeez. And then on your way down, you can actually, just shave off as much profit as you can. Because you can put in a one, a full lot, and then as you're going down, you can kind of shave off profit. You know what I'm saying? And I actually called this, believe it or not, I called this on Ethereum. I said it was going to do this, and if you don't believe me, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to my profile. I call a lot of things. So if you have TradingView, please follow me, because I make a lot of good calls. So I say if you dare short the dreaded crash after the all-time high, so it made the all-time high, right? And then I see the unbalanced gap right here as it's coming up into it, right? And I have my take profit levels, right? So that way you can make the most out of your profit. You hit play, boom, it goes up into that gap and then falls. I knew it was going to happen. I saw it way ahead of time. I saw it way ahead of time. So I'm not trying to be a Nostradamus or anything like that. I'm just trying to play smart money. You don't need fancy lines. You don't need channels. You don't need all this other stuff that this fluff that retail people throw out there. All you need to know is if price has a gap, right? You draw a fib if it's going to go to the 70.5 because that's where that's where the institutions, right? That's where they have their that's where they know they're going to get the biggest discount, right? And so they get the big discount, right, on the sell, on their future sell, and then boom, it just goes, right? And it goes past my my full zone. So needless to say, I made quite a bit of money off of this trade. But I'm just trying to show you that these things exist, right? These things exist. We're on Bitcoin. Sorry, we're on Bitcoin. Let's check out Ethereum again. Let me read your questions because I know you guys are saying a lot of stuff, and I'm sorry. All right, electric vehicles will change this. Electric vehicles will change this. I do believe so. I think Tesla is going to be probably Tesla. I think is probably a little bit overvalued, but I do think Tesla is going to change a lot of things. I used to work for Lyft actually, and the goal at Lyft and a goal was to try to get the self-driving car, right? It is the biggest goal for automakers, right? There's so many different companies out there right now that have computer programmers that are trying to make self-driving cars. It is the biggest operation that you will ever see. Google has its own town in Arizona to where all they do is have self-driving cars. They just made a town to where all it is it's just a bunch of different streets and whatnot. Google has a town somewhere in Arizona to where all they do is just drive around their self-driving cars. It's insane how many people are in this space trying to get the next self-driving car. And I think Tesla's going to get there. And I'm not for sure who's going to get there next. But self-driving cars are coming. And they're coming very fast. They're coming faster than what you think. Like I said, I used to work for Lyft as an analyst. And man, almost all of our meetings were about how far along we came. Like Lyft has its own team dedicated to this, and it's in Palo Alto, California. And that's all they have is computer programmers just going after trying to make the best self-driving car. It is insane, right? It's to me it blows my mind that we have so many people trying to make self-driving cars. So if you think like that's just like a back thought, make that a front thought. Think, especially if you invest in companies, if you're a stock market person and not just like a crypto person, think about things like that. NIO is doing battery as service. I don't know if they're going to own the market, but that's a great idea. Yeah, I don't know much about NIO. I really don't. I probably should, because I think that we're in the same market, if I'm not correct. But it's just insane. Hold on, let me read everybody's. I hope you guys are still on this channel. If I haven't read your chat, I'm sorry. I'm going back through it. Hold on, we're going back to Ethereum. Let me go back over here and let's get a closer look as you see what's going on. And I'm gonna change it to the 5-minute really quick and pull it back. See, it's starting to go lower. See, this used to be support, right? Everybody thought this is support. Like I said, it's gonna go below it. And now everybody's gonna think this is support, right? And I think they're gonna I think they're gonna kind of keep doing this. They're just gonna barely slowly step it on the way down, right? And then I think eventually they're gonna blast off. I don't know when. I wish I knew when. I wish I was Nostradamus. But I think we're eventually gonna blast off, and we're gonna blast off to I think 1800 is what I said. I think I put a different fib on here, so but yeah, 1830 is where I think we're going. All right, sorry guys. What's your vehicles? We'll change this. Yes, it will one day. We'll see about plastic and make them. The demand for oil and gold will go down. I don't agree with that at all. Demand for oil and gold will never go down. There's always going to be a demand for oil and gold. Because oil not only oil is not only for fuel and fueling cars. It's for there's so many different uses for oil. It's ridiculous. So the demand for oil will never go down. I think Bill Gates' plan to make reactors that only run on waste going to be the next big thing. Get rid of our nuke waste, and it's zero carbon. I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard of Bill Gates' plan to make reactors that run on waste. I don't know how that would happen. Not really for sure. Don't know yet. Don't know yet. Sorry, I don't know yet if you're still on here. I know you made a question a long time ago. Sorry about that. Where you think Ether will catch support at? Honestly, where do I think it's gonna go before it actually goes back up? If you want me to make an honest answer about where I think Ether's gonna go before Ether catches support before it goes back up. Sorry, I didn't mean to move that. Oh man, that is a good question. Because here's the thing. You also, man, I don't like this either. You also have some liquidity down here underneath 1300. And then you have a big gap. Look at this. You have a big gap right here. Now I'm on the 5-minute chart. You have a big gap right here. And then you have this guy. Where did I draw my fib before? Let me get rid of all the fibs that are on here. Sorry, I just hit my mic, so if that was really loud, I'm sorry. Ugh. Didn't mean to do that, but I will use that. I think that is where the bottom of the fib is going to go. Right. And then the top of the fib. Top of the fib is going to be the new high. We're not going to go with the old high. Go with the new high. If we're going to go with the new high, we got to find the new support, right? Now look at this. 70.5 is exactly where all these meet. Telling you, this 70.5 is just, it's a phenomenon. But the thing is that there's liquidity just below it. So I don't think there's going to be a support. I don't. I think what's going to happen, man, there's two things that could happen. There's really two things that could happen. This thing can come flying down. I wouldn't say flying down, but doing its own thing. And then right at 62, right? But the thing is, a lot of people are going to draw it from here. And maybe this is the place to draw it from. Maybe this is the place to draw it from. I'm not going to lie. Instead of this one. Even though this was the big jump. This was the lowest low before the big jump. So this is the fib probably to draw from the liquidity level right here where these equal lows are, right? Or everybody thinks that this is going to be a safe support level. It'll probably break through that, right? And then hit this guy right here. And it'll probably happen lightning fast. 1263. Is that what that is? Well, let me put it on the top of it. On top of that guy right there. 1265. So there's two things I think that could happen with Ethereum, right? I think it could meander its way, right? Making these lows, right? It could make people think it's a low, and that way they could buy, and then all of a sudden, boom, it'll drop, right? Take people out, make people think that there's a support that they could buy at, and then boom, it'll drop, and then do the same thing. We bring the support at, boom, it'll drop. And it'll get all the way down and it'll boom, it'll hit here at 1265 and then just take off flying. That's one theory. That's one theory I think that could happen. Why? Because it's going to take out a lot of people if it does that. A lot of traders. I wish there was, man, I wish there was a futures thing like there is on bar chart. So on barchart.com, it tells you the Bitcoin futures and what is the open interest and how many people, you know, are in these contracts and how low it's going to go. And it will give us an idea of how many people are actually thinking about going toward, you know, a specific areas of the market and you know, how low it's going to go and whatnot. So I wish they had that for Ethereum, but so far I haven't found anything like that for Ethereum. So as you can see, it did drop a little bit, right? People know they lost a little bit of money, but they know they're still in it. This is the thing, is that if it keeps doing this, it's making people chase it, or at least making people think that it's going to come up. And eventually they're just going to lose a lot of money if it keeps meandering down like this, right? It's lost a lot of momentum. And we'll probably be able to tell that if we go to the retail template and we go to the RSI. Yep. And also the MACD. MACD is telling us it's lost a lot of momentum. Started losing a lot of momentum way back here. RSI got sold out. Boom, got down. These lines, whenever they cross, they're not sell signals or anything like that. Now, what I used to use this for, this double RSI, right? I use two RSIs. One's a 14, one's a 29, right? If you don't know, you know what? I should probably answer questions instead of keep talking. Sorry, you guys, because you guys are actually having a good conversation and I'm ignoring it, and I'm sorry. So you could, Ether will catch support at. Okay, so I answered that question about where I think each Ether will catch support at. Change upgrade core grade, and things change. Consumers don't come close to matching. Okay, whatever. Ether fills at support now. What is the coin I can get into for actual spending and not be concerned that I'm buying a coffee with something worth a car in 5 years? I know you can spend it. What is a coin I can get into for actual spending and not be concerned that I'm buying a coffee with something worth a car in 5 years? That would be Semi Doji. That question would probably be more toward Dash. Dash is actually a very that's what it's kind of used for in Latin America. You know, it's not something that's always like going to go up or down or anything like that. They use it a lot to buy consumer goods. So if you're looking for something like that, look for something like Dash. Ether fills as support, but it's so unsolid. Yeah, of course it's unsolid because it's not really support. There's never going to be support. Support is subjective. The only thing that actually has real support is long-term support, right? And with crypto, you don't have long-term support. You just only have short-term support. Because crypto is so new, right? That it doesn't have all these different levels. That it's going to go up and down at, whatnot. Whenever you have something like Forex, the foreign exchange market, or if you have, the pound versus the dollar, or the Swiss franc versus the Japanese yen, those things have really long-term support, and those actually, whenever it gets to those, it actually does work. Those supports actually do hold. but they hold for a split second. They get broken, of course, because of liquidity, but they do hold. They, you know, it's not like they'll sit there and you know, be support forever though. Sorry. Kept talking and my cigarette went out. NIO. Spinning. Okay. Basically the batteries are made to drop and drive, and you pay monthly and swap it. Oh, and it runs on normal uranium, but runs on such crap uranium, so you can dump waste into it. Oh, it's not good. Dash new example, I got it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I heard the first BTC transaction was 10,000 for a pizza. I would legit die. Yeah, I heard that too. Some dude from England wanted a piece of pizza or something like that, and paid a guy in Florida, or it was the opposite way around. I can't remember. But then I also heard that the first Bitcoin transaction was between Satoshi Nakamoto and some other guy. But I think that was the first like actual like transaction. Here, I'll send you Bitcoin, you send me Bitcoin type of thing. But I think the first actual Bitcoin for consumer goods, that was the one for the Florida thing. Yeah, they speculate the guy in Florida was Satoshi. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. Did not know that. That's a good information. Good information. Okay. Bitcoin at 33,000. Is it? Going up. I don't know why it's that percentage. Yeah, 33.2. That's where I want it to be. I want it to be above 33.2. If we can get Bitcoin above 33.2 and stay above 33.2, I think we're in good shape. Ooh, wow. Check it out. It's taking off. Which makes me wonder, is ETH taking off? No, not. Let me get rid of these. Why is this on percentage? I don't get it. Not taking off. Bitcoin's not taking off. Now, okay. If you use MetaTrader 4, right, to trade like I do, I actually put in that Litecoin trade to buy. And I'm actually in the positive right now, so that's a good thing. I was in the negative for a little bit, but now I'm in the positive. I'm hoping it breaks that high. Actually, let's see. Let's go to Litecoin, see where it's at. Cool. Litecoin's also taken off. Kind of. Litecoin, Bitcoin, both kind of taken off. I was gonna show you guys something, and I completely forgot what I was gonna show you. Oh well. The extreme gap you showed me once, scared on Bitcoin. Oh, like five, yeah, oh, five likely suspects. Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about this gap down here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. In fact, what I need to do is take this. Oops, didn't mean to move it again. And I need to lock it. That way I don't move it. But you're talking about this down here. This right here. This extreme gap. Yeah, kind of scares me too. Because it's just above where, you know, the old high was, you know, and it comes up to the old high, falls, comes up to the old high, plays around with it, and then right before it, it goes boom and just shoots right through there. So that does have me a little bit worried that it could come all the way back down. And if it does come all the way back down, it's going to shoot right through that high, and it's going to hit that 20,000. It's going to go back up. We're not going to get we're not going to get below 20,000 in Bitcoin. I do not believe we're ever going to get below 20,000 in Bitcoin, primarily because we've spent way too much time below 20,000 in Bitcoin already. And so it's balanced itself out, and it's done everything it's needed to do below 20,000. Now that it's above 20,000, we're not. I don't think we're going to get below it. But the question remains: could we get down to 20,000? Then there's a possibility that's yes. Unfortunately. All right, I was going to show you guys something, and I forgot what it was. I really forgot what it was. One thing that's interested me is Neo. I'm not for sure if you guys are fans of Neo or not, but Neo, I actually called a buy way down here. Okay, so if we get down in here, I know we're in the 4 hour, but we need to get down in the 5 minute to see this, because I called this and I nailed it, and it was awesome. I'm not for sure when it was, though. It was way back in the day. Not gonna let me do it on the 5 minute. Okay, maybe the 1 hour. Okay, so what I was saying here on Neo, right, is that it broke the high, right? And this is kind of a lesson, right, for you guys. Whenever you see, you know, something make a low and then come back, and you see a high like this and it breaks it, right, that's a break of structure. Whenever you see a break of structure, that means it's going to get higher, right? It's almost 90%, 100%. I wouldn't say 100%, but 90% going to get higher, at least short term. So what I did at this point is I took a fib, right, and then I drew. I think it may have been from here to the high, right? Came down 79 is where I entered at, and boom, it nailed it. It nailed that entry. And then there was whenever it came up, it made equal highs right here, so it pulled back. And so I wasn't scared. I didn't sell. I didn't get out of the trade or anything. I stayed there, and I left my goal to try to beat I think it was this high up here. I forgot why I put this was the high, but I did eventually get past this high, or I didn't get this high, and I did get out of the trade after it was starting to come back down, because it didn't create an equal high. It got past this. So whenever you see something that comes up and beats